Look at this. 3 years in water. No soil. No mess. No bags of potting mix sitting in the garage. No fungus gnats flying around the kitchen. No muddy fingerprints on the windowsill. And here's the part that still amazes me. I forgot to change the water for 6 weeks. Not 6 days. 6 weeks. I fully expected this plant to be struggling. I expected yellow leaves. I expected root rot. I expected disappointment. Instead, it grew 2 brand new leaves. That was the moment I realized something. Most people have been taught that houseplants are complicated, that they're fragile, that they need special soils and expensive fertilizers and constant attention. But some plants don't just survive in water. They absolutely thrive in it. Today, I'm showing you 11 indoor plants that can live completely soil-free. Some grow faster in water than they do in pots. Some can live for years in nothing more than a glass jar. One of them becomes more beautiful when you neglect it, and another might become something you pass down to your own children. But first, let me tell you about a plant sitting on my windowsill right now. Years ago, I took a simple cutting from a pothos vine. Nothing special, just a small piece of stem with a couple of leaves. I placed it into a blue glass bottle and set it on a kitchen windowsill. I figured it would grow for a few months, maybe a year. Instead, it just kept growing. The vines got longer. The roots got thicker. The leaves got bigger. Years passed. The plant stayed. My children grew up seeing that same bottle sitting in the same window. Eventually, they started asking questions. How old is that plant? Why is it growing in water? Can I have one? So I clipped off a cutting. Then another. Then another. Now they have pieces of that same plant. And someday, when they have homes of their own, they'll take more cuttings. And maybe one day their children will have cuttings too. 1 plant, 3 generations. No soil ever needed. That's when it hit me. These aren't just houseplants. They're living heirlooms. Before we dive into today's video, I have a major announcement. The Plant Once Garden is officially out. You have been incredibly patient with me while I took the time to get this right. It is approximately 150 pages of everything this channel teaches, gathered into one complete reference, designed with a hand-drawn heritage cover and warm cream pages that feel like a guide your grandmother would have owned. Inside, you'll find the 90 perennial plants that come back every year with almost no labor, 6 complete garden plans, the no-labor planting calendar, and the hydrogen peroxide method explained completely. I've also included the specific perennials that bring hummingbirds singing and dancing right outside your window, the chapter on what your garden becomes over 20 years, and the mistakes that kill perennials. This is a reference you can lean on for the rest of your gardening life. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now, or click the link in the pinned comment or description below to get your copy. Thank you again for your patience. Now, back to today's topic. Number 1. Pothos. If you only try one plant from today's list, make it this one. Pothos is the reason so many people fall in love with water gardening. It is forgiving. It is fast. And it is almost impossible to kill. Here's all you need to do. Find a healthy vine. Look for a node, that little bump on the stem where leaves emerge. Cut just below it. Place the node into clean water. And wait. That's it. No special soil. No rooting hormone. No expensive setup. Within a couple of weeks, you'll see tiny white roots begin emerging. Within a month, you'll have a fully established water-grown plant. The reason pothos is so perfect for beginners is that it forgives mistakes. Forget a water change? Usually fine. Miss a week? Usually fine. Move it to another room? Usually fine. It's one of the toughest indoor plants you'll ever grow. And here's something most people never realize. One vine can become an entire collection. Every section containing a node can become a brand new plant. 1 cutting becomes 5. 5 become 10. 10 become 20. Before long, you're giving them away to neighbors and family members. And every one of those plants came from the same original vine. Pet safety warning. Pothos is toxic to cats and dogs. If you have curious pets, place it somewhere they cannot reach. Number 2. Philodendron. If pothos is the easiest plant on this list, philodendron is right beside it. The heartleaf philodendron is especially beautiful. The leaves are glossy. The vines trail elegantly, and in water they grow with surprising speed. A friend of mine learned an important lesson about philodendrons the hard way. She's owned cats for decades, never had a serious issue. One day she placed a beautiful philodendron on her coffee table. Her cat took a bite, just one bite. The next day was spent at the emergency veterinarian. Thankfully, the cat recovered completely. But it was a scary reminder that some plants need to be respected. So before we talk about care, let's cover safety. Philodendrons are toxic to pets. Keep them well out of reach. Now for the good news. They are incredibly easy to grow. Take a cutting. Place the node in water. Provide bright, indirect light, and watch what happens. New roots begin forming quickly. New leaves follow. Then more leaves. Then more vines. One tip most people never hear. Never use ice-cold water, especially during winter. Philodendrons dislike cold water. Always use room temperature water. That one small adjustment can make a huge difference in growth. And if you want that lush jungle look people spend hundreds of dollars trying to create, philodendron does it for almost free. Number 3. Lucky bamboo. This plant has one of the biggest identity crises in gardening, because it isn't bamboo, not even close. Lucky bamboo is actually a member of the Dracaena family. Yet despite the name, it has become one of the most recognizable water-grown plants on Earth. You've seen it. Restaurants, hotels, office desks, reception counters, waiting rooms. There is a reason it's everywhere. It practically takes care of itself. Most houseplants demand bright windows. Lucky bamboo does the opposite. It actually prefers lower light conditions. That makes it perfect for offices, hallways, apartments, and those darker corners where other plants struggle. Care couldn't be simpler. Keep about an inch of water above the roots. Replace the water every couple of weeks. Provide indirect light. Done. Years ago, I made the mistake most people make. I bought one of those expensive decorative arrangements, the kind wrapped with ribbons and sold for far more than they're worth. Later, I learned the secret. Buy individual stalks. Arrange them yourself. The result looks almost identical, but costs a fraction of the price. Sometimes the simplest gardening lessons are actually money-saving lessons. And this plant is a perfect example. Number 4. Spider plant. I call this the plant that makes babies, because that's exactly what it does. In fact, if you've never owned a spider plant before, the first time you see it happen is almost magical. The mature plant sends out long, arching stems. At the ends of those stems appear miniature versions of itself. Tiny baby plants, ready to grow, ready to root, ready to become full plants. No effort required. Years ago, I bought a single spider plant. One plant. That's all. Today, I have more than I can count. Every baby became another plant. Every new plant produced more babies. And the cycle never stopped. To grow one in water, simply snip off a healthy spiderette. Place the base into shallow water. Within days, roots begin appearing. Within weeks, you've got a healthy new plant. Within months, you'll be giving them away. Here's something else people love. Spider plants are pet safe. Cats and dogs generally tolerate them well. In fact, cats often seem fascinated by those dangling baby plants. If you have pets and want a worry-free option, spider plant deserves serious consideration. Quick question for you. Which would you rather have? A house full of colorful plants, or a house full of low-light plants that practically care for themselves? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and your answers genuinely help shape future videos. Number 5. Coleus. This is the plant I teased at the beginning, the one that seems to enjoy neglect. And I have a confession to make. Last summer I completely forgot about mine. Not for a few days. For weeks. I went away. Life got busy. The plant wasn't on my mind. No water changes. No maintenance. No attention. When I came home, I expected disaster. I expected yellow leaves. I expected decline. I expected regret. Instead, I found 2 brand new leaves. The plant actually looked healthier than when I left. That's when I learned something important. Some plants don't just tolerate neglect. They prefer it. Coleus is one of them. The colors are incredible. Deep burgundy, electric pink, bright lime green, ruby red, near black foliage. Some varieties look painted by hand. And unlike many colorful plants, Coleus roots incredibly fast, often within a week. But there is one requirement: bright light. Without enough light, the colors begin fading. The dramatic purples become ordinary green. The reds lose intensity. The magic disappears. Put it near a bright window, and it rewards you with some of the most spectacular foliage you'll ever grow indoors. And for pet owners, even better. Coleus is generally considered pet-friendly. 5 plants down, and by now you're probably starting to notice something. None of these plants require heavy bags of soil. None require digging. None require kneeling on the floor repotting containers every few months. That's one of the reasons water gardening has become so popular. You can actually see everything. You see the roots. You see the water level. You see the plant's health. No guessing. No mystery. No mess. And we're just getting started. Because the next plant on this list grows so quickly that one cutting can turn into an entire windowsill full of plants before you know it. By the way, if you're looking to completely transform your yard into a low-maintenance paradise, don't forget that my full reference guide, The Plant Once Garden, is now officially available. It's 150 pages, covering all the perennial foundations and permanent setups we talk about on this channel. You can scan the QR code right here on the screen, or find the link in the pinned comment below to grab your copy. Now, let's get right back into today's topic. Number 6. Tradescantia, inch plant. This plant grows so fast it almost feels like cheating. If you've never grown Tradescantia before, prepare yourself. Because once it gets started, it doesn't slow down. The first time I grew it in water, I thought something was wrong. Every few days it looked noticeably bigger. New roots, new leaves, new vines, more growth than I expected. Then something funny happened. A neighbor stopped by for coffee. She looked at the windowsill. Purple vines cascading from glass jars. Silver-striped leaves catching the sunlight. Plants everywhere. And she asked me one question. Where did you buy all of these? I laughed. Because the answer was simple. I didn't. Every single one came from one original cutting. That's the magic of Tradescantia. It multiplies faster than almost anything else on this list. Every time you trim it, you've created future plants. Put those cuttings into water. Wait a few days. Now you have more plants. Those become larger plants. Those produce more cuttings. And before long, your single cutting has become an entire collection. The foliage is stunning. Purple, silver, green, pink. Depending on the variety, the colors almost shimmer when sunlight hits them. If you enjoy fast results, this is the plant for you. And unlike many popular houseplants, it's generally considered pet-friendly, which makes it even easier to recommend. Now here's where I need your help. Which plant so far is your favorite? Pothos? Coleus? Spider plant? Tradescantia? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely enjoy reading them, and many future videos come directly from your suggestions. Number 7. Chinese Evergreen. This is the low-light champion. The plant I recommend when someone tells me, I love houseplants, but my home is too dark. Most plants complain about low light. Chinese Evergreen thrives in it. Silver varieties, green varieties, pink varieties, patterned varieties. No matter which one you choose, The foliage is beautiful, but the real value is simplicity. I receive messages all the time from viewers who still love gardening but don't enjoy the physical side of it anymore. The lifting, the digging, the hauling, the constant repotting. My own family understands that. As the years pass, gardening changes. What was once easy sometimes becomes difficult. But water gardening removes so many of those barriers. No heavy bags of soil, no dirty containers, no kneeling, no digging, just a cutting, a glass jar, some water, and a windowsill. Chinese evergreen is perfect for that. It roots more slowly than the others, sometimes 3 or 4 weeks. But once established, it becomes one of the easiest plants you'll ever own. Bonus tip: use room temperature or slightly warm water. Growth is often noticeably better. Pet safety warning: Chinese evergreen is toxic to cats and dogs. Keep it well out of reach. Number 8. English ivy. English ivy has been decorating homes for generations, and most people never realize how well it adapts to water. Its vines naturally create elegance, the kind of plant that instantly makes a room feel more established, more finished, more alive. In a glass vase, the roots become part of the display. White roots below, green vines above. It creates a beautiful contrast. One hidden benefit of growing English ivy in water is avoiding many of the problems associated with traditional containers. No compacted soil, no soil-borne pests, no dirty potting mix, no constant repotting. Keep it in bright indirect light. Refresh the water regularly, and remove any leaves that sit below the waterline. That's important. Submerged leaves eventually rot. Rotting leaves create bacteria. Bacteria create problems. A simple adjustment prevents all of that. Pet safety warning: English ivy is toxic to cats and dogs. Number 9. Peace lily. This plant surprises people, because most people think peace lilies belong in soil. The truth is they adapt beautifully to water. In fact, some of the most impressive indoor water gardens use peace lilies as their centerpiece. The key is understanding one simple rule: roots in water, crown above water. The roots need moisture. The crown needs air. Get that balance right, and the plant can thrive for years. What makes peace lily unique on this list is flowers. Most water-grown plants are valued for foliage. Peace lily gives you both. Dark green glossy leaves, elegant white blooms, a combination that never goes out of style. And because you're growing it in water, monitoring root health becomes incredibly easy. You can literally see everything. No guessing, no surprises, just healthy, visible roots. Pet safety warning: peace lily is toxic to cats and dogs. Number 10. Arrowhead vine. Arrowhead vine is one of those plants that becomes more attractive with age. Young plants stay compact. Older plants become lush and full. The leaves resemble arrowheads, hence the name. And depending on the variety, the colors can be spectacular. Deep green, cream, white, pink. Some leaves appear hand-painted. Others almost glow in bright indirect light. One reason I love arrowhead vine in water is how quickly it creates a full display. It doesn't take years. It doesn't require complicated care. Give it light. Give it water. Give it a little patience, and it rewards you with vigorous growth. The root systems also become fascinating. In clear containers, they create beautiful networks beneath the waterline, almost like living artwork. Pet safety warning: arrowhead vine is toxic to cats and dogs. Number 11. Begonia. And finally, begonia. This plant catches people completely off guard, because most gardeners associate begonias with soil, not water. But many varieties adapt beautifully, especially Rex and wax begonias. Take a healthy cutting, submerge the lower nodes, place it in bright indirect light, and wait. Roots begin forming, new leaves appear, And sometimes you'll even get flowers. The real attraction, however, is the foliage. Silver patterns, deep burgundy tones, pink highlights, metallic-looking textures. Some varieties look like pieces of living artwork. In a clear vase, with visible roots below and dramatic foliage above, begonias become genuine conversation pieces. Now you've seen all 11 plants. But here's something important. Choosing the right plant is only half the battle. The real secret is understanding what happens below the waterline. And once you understand this next section, your success rate goes through the roof. Did you know plants grow completely different roots depending on where they're living? It's true. A plant growing in soil develops soil roots. A plant growing in water develops water roots. And they are not the same thing. Soil roots are designed to search for moisture inside tiny pockets of earth. They depend heavily on air spaces within the soil. Water roots are different. They're thinner, more delicate, more translucent, and they're designed to absorb dissolved oxygen directly from the water. This explains one of the biggest mistakes people make. They pull a mature plant out of a pot, wash the roots, drop it into water, then wonder why it struggles. The plant is trying to replace its entire root system. It's essentially rebuilding itself from the ground up. That's why fresh cuttings perform so much better. They immediately grow roots designed specifically for water. No transition, no shock, no confusion. If you're new to water gardening, start with cuttings. Your success rate will be dramatically higher. Every successful water gardener eventually learns this lesson. Roots come from nodes, not leaves, not stems. Nodes. That small bump where leaves emerge contains the tissue necessary to create new roots. Whenever you take a cutting, cut just below a node. Then remove any leaves that would sit underwater. Submerged leaves are bad news. They rot. They cloud the water. They introduce bacteria. And they increase the chances of failure. A clean cutting with a healthy node gives you the best possible start. This might be the most important tip in the entire video. Never fill the container to the top. Most beginners think more water is better. It isn't. Roots need oxygen. Plants need oxygen. The lower roots should sit in water. The upper roots should have access to air. That air gap is critical. Without it, the roots can literally suffocate. As a general rule, fill containers roughly 1/3 to halfway. That provides both water and oxygen. The perfect combination. Let's talk about water itself. Because not all water is equal. First, temperature. Never use ice-cold water directly from the tap, especially during winter. Cold water can shock roots and stall growth for weeks. Room temperature water is always the safer choice. Second, quality. Rainwater is excellent. Filtered water is excellent. Distilled water also works well. If tap water is your only option, simply let it sit uncovered overnight. That allows chlorine to dissipate before it reaches your plants. It's a simple habit that can make a surprising difference. This advice surprises many people, because beginners often think frequent water changes are helping. But new cuttings need stability. Every time you dump the water and refill the container, you're disrupting the environment the roots are trying to establish. For fresh cuttings, leave them alone. Be patient. Once plants are established, refreshing the water every 1 to 2 weeks is usually enough. That replenishes oxygen while keeping the roots healthy. Here's something many videos forget to mention. Water contains no nutrients. Eventually your plants will need food. Without nutrients, growth slows. Leaves become smaller. The plant stalls. The solution is simple. Use a hydroponic nutrient solution or a urea-free liquid fertilizer. And here's the important part. Use less than the label recommends. Usually 1/4 to 1/2 strength is plenty. A little goes a long way. Feed monthly during spring and summer. Skip feeding during winter. If you're using clear glass containers, algae eventually appears. It's normal. Sunlight plus water equals algae. Fortunately, it's easy to manage. Remove the plant. Rinse the roots. Wash the container. Refill with fresh water. Done. For prevention, many experienced growers switch to darker containers. Amber glass. Ceramic containers. Anything that blocks sunlight. Less light means less algae. Some gardeners also add a drop or two of hydrogen peroxide when changing water. That can help suppress algae growth while increasing oxygen levels. Healthy roots are easy to recognize. White, cream-colored, light tan. They should look firm and healthy. Trouble begins when roots become brown, black, slimy, or foul-smelling. Those are warning signs. If you see them, act immediately. Remove the plant. Trim away the damaged roots with sterilized scissors. Wash the container thoroughly. Replace the water. And increase the air gap. Most plants recover surprisingly well when root rot is caught early. The key is paying attention. Fortunately, water gardening makes that easy. Because you can actually see the roots. No digging required. No guessing required. Everything is visible. And that's exactly why so many people fall in love with this method. No soil, no mess, no mystery. Just roots, water, sunlight, and patience. Remember that pothos I showed you at the beginning? The one growing in the blue bottle? It's still on my windowsill. Still growing. Still producing new leaves. Still giving me cuttings to share. One day my children will take more cuttings. And maybe someday my grandchildren will too. One plant. Multiple generations. No soil ever needed. And that really is the beauty of water gardening. Simple enough for a beginner. Beautiful enough for an expert. And easy enough to enjoy for years. If you're ready to stop wasting time on plants that die every winter and finally build a garden that takes care of itself, don't forget to grab your copy of The Plant Once Garden. It's 150 pages of everything this channel teaches, completely mapped out for you. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now, or click the link in the description below to get started. Thank you so much for watching. Now tell me in the comments, which of these 11 plants are you going to try first? And if you're already growing one in water, how long has it been there? I read every single comment. And I'll see you in the next video.